So it's Sunday, day of rest, or day of cooking if you're into it. If not, hit the link in the bio and I'll do it for you. So today we are going to be making lamb with garlic and rosemary, and I've actually picked some wild garlic so we can make a fresh pesto to go with it. I just can't even. So we've got Barnsley chops, and I'm gonna make a little dauphinoise potatoes and some roasted vegetables. Simple. So I'm just gonna get a little roasting tin. Now for my vegetables, I've chosen some quite fresh, a little bit Mediterranean vibe, a little cross French vibe. I've got some chantenay carrots, some sugar drop tomatoes, courgette and red pepper. So I've peeled the onion already, and I'm just gonna literally chop it into quarters, stick it in the tin. In they go. So, literally popping all those carrots in whole. Oh, make sure you don't get them on the table. And these tomatoes, they're going in whole as well. So we've got a nice little dish. Now, just chunky slices of your courgette all the way through. I like it quite rustic. You can do it however you want. The smaller that you cut your courgette, the quicker it will take to cook. Your carrots, obviously, they're quite hard and will take a bit longer to cook. So what you want to try and do is just match up their cooking time a little bit. So even though these are really small, they are still quite hard. So cutting the courgette a little bit larger will enable the cooking process of your courgette to actually be a bit longer. In it goes. So to this, we're just going to put some sea salt, remember, rubbing method, even coating, olive oil, nice coating of that as well. And I'm actually going to go in with a little touch of water, and I'm going to go in with some garlic. Just dot that all around. Roasted garlic caramelizes. Absolutely delicious. And that is as simple as that is, and we're just going to put it in the oven at 180 for about 30 minutes. The next thing you'll need to prepare is your potatoes. These take a little minute to cook as well. So I've got some baby potatoes, really nice this springtime, and I'm going to chop through them, nice thin slices. I've scrubbed these clean, so I'm going to leave the skin on. I like it, nice and rustic. So the next thing we have to do is we need to heat up a little bit of double cream. So I put a pan on high heat. I got some double cream from Hinkston Dairy just down the road, and it is divine. I'm going to put that in there. So we have our cream heating up, just slowly. Don't want it too fast, it will explode everywhere. And I'm going to season this now with some sprigs of rosemary, fresh rosemary. Just tear that up a little bit, get that fragrance flowing. I was taught from such a young age that rosemary has to go with lamb at all times. Sacrilege to serve it without. Now I'm going to season it. You can season it with salt if you want to, a bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to season it with some anchovy. This is really strong in flavour, it's really salted. And if you just put those into the cream while it's heating up, it will create such a deeper, richer flavour of seasoning. And then simply go in with your potatoes. Let that infuse just for a few minutes. Oh, that is going to be delicious, I can smell it already. So whilst your potatoes are infusing in your cream, we're going to make some fresh wild garlic and mint pesto. So mint is a classic, goes with lamb as well. And this wild garlic, it's got quite a nice peppery sort of almost spiciness to it, which is really going to vamp up your flavours for the end product. So I've got some wild garlic leaves. I'm quite literally going to rip those and put them into a blender pot. And some fresh mint. Again, just tear it off the stalks. The stalks will blitz up nicely in this, so don't worry too much if you've got a little stalk in there. You don't want really hard woody stalk in there. So far I've got half wild garlic, half mint, and some pine nuts. Some Maldon sea salt. And Parmesan. I've already grated this Parmesan, and you can buy it already grated actually if you want to save yourself some time. Oh my goodness. Naughty. Now, just some olive oil. For this, because it's a fresh sort of dip or sauce to go alongside your food, you want it to be like something really nice and palatable, more like an extra virgin olive oil as opposed to a pomace olive oil or a plain olive oil that you would use more in cooking. It's got a much nicer flavour to it, much fresher. This will take quite a lot of olive oil. We want to put it in a little bit at a time though, just to stop it splitting. So about halfway through, you want to take your NutriBullet off of its stand and add some more olive oil. Again, you can just do this a little bit at a time. You can do this as many times as you feel comfortable doing. If you'd rather add a little bit at a time rather than lots at once and kind of ruining it, it's better to be safe than sorry. So now that should be done. You're gonna test, oh my gosh. Oh my God. Cheesy, peppery, fresh. Put that in a little pot. Cover the top with a little bit of olive oil to stop it discolouring until you're ready to serve it. And that is good to go. You can leave it in the fridge or you can leave it on the side depending on what you prefer. I'm going to top that with pine nuts as well, just to serve. There you go, that's that ready. So your potatoes should be nice and softening now. I'm going to pop them in a little roasting dish and we're just going to pop them in the oven to finish off with some Parmesan on the top. What you've got here is essentially a slice of the saddle of the lamb, so it's essentially like 2 pork loins put together with a little bone in the middle. Now the best thing to do is to cook this with the bone in the middle. So we're going to get a pan on, and at the moment I'm going to put that on a medium heat, and I'll tell you why. What we're going to do is we're going to put it first of all that side down into the pan, and that will render that fat really nicely, so it will make the fat really soft, cook it through and make it almost caramelised. Often when you don't cook the skin side like that, you will have a really beautifully cooked piece of meat. Quite often if you like it like medium rare on that kind of side, you will find that it's difficult to cook that fat all the way through and cook it really well. But if you put it in skin side down, then you will get such a better finished product. For that reason, I'm just going to put in a little bit of oil into our pan, and our pan is kind of just getting to a medium heat. Usually when you're cooking steaks or lamb chops, like you want it quick, you want it fast, but to render this fat, I'm actually going to do it a little bit more slowly so that it doesn't scorch the outside off. So I'm just going to put some olive oil onto it and go with some salt, some pepper, and I'm going to take a little bit of the pesto that I've made and rub that all over it. That will develop a beautiful crust full and packed of flavour, and some again I'm going to just break that up, kind of bruise it to get that fragrance out. So in it goes into the pan. We're just going to let that do its thing. So you'll notice when it's cooking, when you look at the side of the lamb, you can see the colour changing from that gorgeous pink to a sort of goldeny brown colour. That is a good note to see how far cooked the actual piece of meat is. So when you'll see the colour changing towards the middle of the piece of meat, that's a really good indication of when you want to flip it over. So once your lamb is cooked, you'll need to let it rest for about 20 minutes minimum.
And whilst it's resting, you can take those gorgeous pan juices, do not throw them away, keep them, they are full and packed of flavour, and you can drizzle them over the lamb as it's resting, and that flavour, oh my goodness, is gonna change your world. So here you have a gorgeous rosemary lamb with roasted vegetables and your dauphinoise potato, perfect for an Easter Sunday.